We are the American Legion Department of New Jersey. Be the one.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and fellow Americans, America is not a pure democracy. It is a constitutional republic. This distinction shapes not only how we govern, but how we protect and preserve the freedoms which we cherish. To understand this distinction, we must first define these terms. A democracy is a system where the majority rules directly, often leading to decisions swayed by popular opinion, which may not represent the best interest of all. In contrast, a republic is a system where the people elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf, governed by a constitution that protects individual rights from majority overreach. This concept is no abstraction. Recall the words of the Pledge of Allegiance, and to the republic for which it stands. Our founders sought to establish a republic precisely because they understood the inherent dangers of direct democracy, such as mob rule and the suppression of minority voices. Unfortunately, in modern times, these terms are frequently confused and used interchangeably. Politicians and public figures often speak about safeguarding our democracy, seemingly unaware that America was never designed to be a pure democracy. This misunderstanding is not trivial. When leaders advocate for the safety of our democracy without acknowledging the republic's framework, they inadvertently threaten the very system that safeguards our liberties. To fully appreciate the United States as a republic, we must contrast it with the vulnerabilities of pure democracies from the past. Ancient Greece, often hailed as the cradle of democracy, fell victim to mass mayhem, leading to its eventual downfall. More recently, Germany attempted to re-establish the Weimar Republic, but it allowed democratic processes that allowed for the rise of extremist parties, culminating in the Nazi regime. These examples underscore why our founders sought to establish a republic and a constitution with its safeguards to prevent against such destructive shifts in our society. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Constitution is its system of checks and balances for those who govern, carefully designed to prevent a concentration of power. The separation of power into the legislative, executive, and judicial branches ensures that no single entity can dominate. For example, the president can override or veto legislation, but Congress can override that veto. Similarly, the judiciary holds the authority to declare laws as unconstitutional, holding both the president and Congress accountable. Consider the 1803 case of Marbury v. Madison, which established judicial review. In this case, the Supreme Court overrode an act of Congress, thus illustrating the original tenets of the Constitution can be revised. This thinking was further reinforced by James Madison in his publication of Federalist No. 10, where he laid out the dangers of direct democracy, recognizing again that majority rule suppresses minority rights. This ensures that individual voices are not drowned out in a republic with its system of checks and balances. By having checks and balances, we ensure that the rule of law prevails over the rule of man. The Constitution in its preamble begins with the powerful words, "We the people," recognizing again that the authority of the Constitution is derived from its citizens. The Constitution is not a document that governs us per se, but a living framework that evolves with the will of the people. Benjamin Franklin, when asked what form of government had been created, famously remarked, "A republic, if you can keep it." This statement is both a warning and a call to action. This empowerment comes with great responsibility. It is not enough for citizens to just understand their rights, they must also exercise them wisely. One of the most critical responsibilities is voting. Unfortunately, in the United States, voter participation frequently lags behind that of other developed nations. Voter turnout, sadly, often falls below 50%. In a republic, elections are the means by which citizens delegate power to their representatives. Failing to vote obviously relinquishes one's voice from having a say in the shaping of governing policies. This inaction erodes the foundation of representative governance and weakens our republic. On a different note, the amendment process respects the balance between stability and change in our republic. Amendments require significant consensus, a 2/3 approval by both houses of Congress, and a 3/4 ratification by the states. This deliberate difficulty ensures that proposed changes reflect the collective will rather than fleeting passions. All 27 of our nation's amendments are profound statements on national identity, aligning the principles of liberty and justice. For example, consider the First Amendment, which guarantees us 5 essential rights: the freedom of speech, press, assembly, petition, and religion. These 5 freedoms have been the basis for countless change in our nation. Also consider Amendments 13, 14, and 15, which collectively dismantled slavery and established equal protection under the law. Furthermore, Amendments 19 and 27 inspire excitement in voters my age as we prepare to exercise these rights for the first time. The use of our rights have challenged injustices in society and demanded change, recognizing again that the Constitution is not just a static document of mere words, but a living framework that evolves with the will of the people. Our framers recognized that upholding the Constitution requires vigilance. Thomas Jefferson in 1834 said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. The Declaration of Independence, although not part of the Constitution, explicitly states that it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish any government that becomes destructive to life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. This statement reinforces the thinking of the Constitution and serves as a reminder of our responsibility. As dramatized by Nicolas Cage in the 2004 movie National Treasure, it is indeed our duty to challenge and, if necessary, overthrow a tyrannical government, a notion rooted in the very principles upon which our nation was built. Recognizing the imperfection of any governing document, our framers included a section in Article 5 in the Bill of Rights to the Constitution, allowing amendments to adapt to evolving societal needs. For example, in 1796, Thomas Paine advocated for the inclusion of pursuit of property alongside life and liberty. Yet this process is not infallible. The Equal Rights Amendment was first proposed over a century ago, and it is still waiting to become the 28th Amendment. This highlights another duty of citizenship: persistence. When our constitutional goals remain unfulfilled, it is our duty to continue voting, speaking out, and educating others until justice prevails. As Franklin D. Roosevelt once noted, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, a statement recognizing that complacency and inaction are the greatest threats to progress. Our republic depends on more than just our system of government. It relies on the active participation of our citizens. This participation can take on many forms. For those so inclined, civic responsibility can be running for office, a responsibility free from fear of reprisal or intimidations. For those choosing not to be in office, an alternative can be raising awareness on critical issues and providing support and feedback to those who are in office. The First Amendment gives us all the ability to speak our beliefs without fear. It is our civic responsibility to exercise this right to ensure that we continue voting, speaking out, and holding ourselves and our leaders accountable. Without our engagement, the system falters. Without our vigilance, liberty erodes. Upholding the Constitution requires courage, knowledge, and a relentless commitment to liberty. It is our civic duty to ensure that this republic endures for generations to come. As Abraham Lincoln so eloquently observed, you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading today. I leave you with one final thought. It is not enough to be protected by the system. We must also protect the system. Thank you.
We are the American Legion Department of New Jersey. Be the one.